Hey there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your reading for 2016. This reading is for Sagittarius who were born on or before, or in between, I should say, the December 13th to December 22nd. So the last 10 days, basically, of your sign. So if you don't know, if you haven't seen any of the other videos for this, I split up each sign into the three decans in astrology, pretty much. Some of the other ones I had to mess around with the dates a little bit to make it make more sense, but pretty much every sign is split up into the three decans for each sign in astrology, and I did this to make the readings a little bit more accurate, make them a little bit more specific to the signs. So you can feel free to watch all three videos. I'm sure, as I've been saying the whole time, that some of the other videos in your sign will still make sense for you over the year. But again, this video, if you were born between December 13th and the 22nd, will probably make the most sense and will probably resonate with you the most. So having said all that, let's just get right into your reading. You start off with the Five of Hearts, which is a wonderful card, all about birthing of things. Sometimes this card can represent some jealousy at work, which I wouldn't worry about too much. As I say, this jealousy usually comes from you, like, gaining something. You have a card here that represents gaining some recognition at work or in your business. So this jealousy would make total sense, and wouldn't even let it bother you. I mean, don't even think about it. And it's just jealousy. It'll just be words. It won't be anything like really truly malicious that can cause you any harm or cause any problems or anything like that. Just people being jealous, which people can fall into that trap and become very jealous and gossipy. So just stay out of it. Just ignore it. You know how good you are at your job and your place of business or whatever the case may be. So this is what this card can mean sometimes. It's also the card of being more adventurous, needing to be more spontaneous. If you're finding yourself stuck, a lot of the times this card can come up for people who are stuck. Like when I do like a lot of readings, personal readings for people, this card will come up, and when they use a word like "I'm stuck, what do I do?" this card will show up. And what does this card say? It says, hey, you know what, you're doing the same thing every single day. Your routine hasn't changed. It just says flip your routine around, mix some things up, do some fun things, like add in some hobbies or other things, and gain some other perspectives with this card. Learn to gain new perspectives, even accept other knowledge. That can be the thing too. If you notice, which I'm sure you have, we live in a very polarized world right now where everybody's like extreme. The terrorists, they're extremists. They go to the far extremes. Even in politics, it's like, if you notice in politics, both sides are really extreme right now. They're really going to like either end. There's no balance at all in any of this stuff. If some of the more spiritual people kind of sit there and watch it as theater, because that's what it is. It's just theater and not real in the first place. But having said that, if you notice, there's all this extremism going on. Everything is way far to one side, no matter what it is. All these, it's all this like racism stuff. It's always like super extreme, and that is like with this card right here. This card asks you to also more find like balance and gain another perspective. So some of you might find yourselves like going towards one side or the other, and maybe you want to look at the other side. Does it say that you have to be like that at all? Absolutely not. But it just says, hey, you know what? Maybe in your life you just maybe have to step outside of what your beliefs are right now and just look at some other things. Like I said, do you have to adopt those beliefs? Absolutely not. But sometimes this card is about gaining perspective and just looking at everything. And again, and it doesn't have to mean anything. It just has to mean maybe gaining some other knowledge from the other side can be benefit. It can even be beneficial to you. So open up to that. Next, you have the Joker. Joker is a great card. Again, it kind of lends itself to that jealousy at work thing, because the Joker is really good at working and really good at work. The Joker is always heavily judged at work because the Joker can do like 20 things at once, and the Joker can do them to a high degree of accuracy, where everybody else you work with can do maybe like one thing and they don't do a really great job at it. The Joker always does a great job, so it comes in and says, hey, if you're working really hard and people are jealous, don't worry, because you have the Joker. The Joker also allows us to handle a lot more in our lives, like handle doing a lot more things, handle a bunch of more projects and things like that. So if any extra projects or anything come your way, feel free to step up and take them. You could even earn more money with the Joker. Also, with the Joker, if you have a business, if you have a job, but you've thought about maybe starting a side business, you could do that right now with this energy, because the Joker really allows us to do some like extra things in our lives. So you might want to take advantage of that. Next, you have the King of Spades. King of Spades is all about having been through some battles and battling through life. But now you've gained a lot of knowledge from those battles. You've learned a lot, and you have a sense of maturity with the King of Spades. And you want to use that to your advantage. The King of Spades is very smart. He's been through a lot of battles, so he knows how to handle a lot of different situations. I always say that the King of Spades has like a sense of calmness about him. He doesn't overreact to anything. He doesn't freak out about anything, and it's because he's just seen everything. He's seen it all. Nothing affects him anymore. So you want to kind of develop that this year. I think you've all been through your battles. I think you've been through a lot of battles, and it's kind of like now you know how to handle things. It would make you a great leader as well, just kind of knowing how to position yourself and all of this, because you've already seen everything. It's a great position to be in. Next, you have the Jack of Diamonds. Jack of Diamonds is also another great card, but it is a card of balance. It's a card of needing to balance. The Jack of Diamonds, he likes to play hard, but he also likes to, he likes to work hard as well. So it's that creating balance. If you find yourself working nonstop this year, you might want to take a break and really look at having some fun as well. It's a card that says you need to balance those things out. Sometimes with the Jack of Diamonds, you can even like get sick if you work too much, because you're not giving yourself enough rest with this card. So it's all about learning to do all those things. I always say with the Jack of Diamonds, if you're in sales or anything that requires negotiation, you'll probably be doing really well this year with this card, because this card kind of gives a lot of power and energy to those things. If you're not in those things, you might want to look towards anything involving sales or negotiation or anything where you're like kind of wheeling and dealing or anything like that. Jack of Diamonds is an expert at those things, so that would be a really good thing for you to do this year. Jack of Diamonds also, can be a love card. It can be a card of having somebody who's interested in you. You'd probably meet them through work, so if you're single, you definitely have that potential. And they would probably be younger than you. Jack of Diamonds are usually immature, and again, I don't attach sex to my cards, so it doesn't matter, male or female. It could be either or coming in. They would probably be a little bit younger than you. They could even be the same age as you, but just more immature. But they would be a lot of fun. The Jack of Diamonds is a lot of fun. The Jack of Diamonds people typically know how to have a good time, so at least there's that. Next, you have the Six of Spades, all about building up momentum in your life. This came up for the last Sagittarius video I did as well. I would say that it's a pretty big message for Sagittarius that you will be building momentum in your life. And, like things will be maybe start off a little bit slow, but they'll pick up and then you'll kind of be like unstoppable. So just know that. This is also to me like kind of like the true karmic boomerang card, as I've been saying. This is like instant karma, instant judgment right here. If you do something wrong this year, it's going to come back to bite you like almost immediately, right away. But if you're doing all the right things, then more positivity will come with this card. So that's kind of like one of the things to watch out with this card. Don't gossip at work. Don't talk about people behind their back. Don't do bad things to people, and you'll be fine. But if you're lying and you're doing all these bad things, then it's going to come back to bite you with this card. So try to stay, out of everything this year, especially with this card. Next, you have the Nine of Clubs. Love this card. All about success and opportunity coming your way. It's also about, really, I would say the important message that I'm getting off of this for you is to open up your head, open up your mind, and open up your mind to other things that you could possibly be learning. Sometimes when we get this card, we can be a little bit too focused on one thing, and we don't open up to other possibilities. So the card definitely asks you to, like, if you're working on a project, but it's not really moving as fast as you like, maybe ask somebody in your team or look for another way or look for something else, because with this card, sometimes we can close off to those ideas. We're like, nope, not going to do it. But it really is a card that rewards you for, looking at these other ways of doing things. So even if they're unconventional, even if you think somebody comes up with, if you're working on a team and you need to get something done and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what, why don't we try this? But it sounds totally out there. Try it with this card because it could really work. And you don't want to block out any of these ideas. It's all about letting go of the old and allowing new seemingly crazy ideas in, is what this card really asks you to do. Finally, you have the Ace of Spades coming in. I actually like the Ace of Spades because it does remove things from our lives, but it allows for like tons of new growth, to come into our lives. You have two cards of mastery here, the King of Spades and the Ace of Spades, all about mastering something. You have the chance to really like master a subject or a skill this year and really become just like the top dog in your field even, with these cards. It's really important. So definitely pay attention to those things. And this is another card. Ace the spades are all about spirituality. So sometimes the Ace of Spades can say, hey, you know what? You need to learn how to mix your job and spirituality together. You need to figure out how to mix those two things together. Or you need to start trusting your intuition more at work. If you've been having a lot of situations where you're like, oh man, I knew that was going to happen and you could have avoided it. Well, it's like, hey, you need to start listening to your intuition more and stop ignoring it. That's what this card can come in and say sometimes. So, but overall, I think you're going to have an amazing year. Work focused year with some love mixed in there. Definitely some spirituality as well, focusing on becoming more spiritual. But overall, really great. So thank you for watching. And also, again, feel free to watch the other two Sagittarius videos.